In Bright Future Tech's conference room, Maya Johnson faced Karen Thompson, her voice ablade. I built this company. I won't let prejudice poison it. Karen's smirk vanished, her face ashen as security loomed. The room gasped. Maya, the assistant, was the CEO. Weeks earlier, the sleek office of Bright Future Tech pulsed with ambition. Keyboards clacked, screens glowed with code, and the coffee machine whirred. Maya Johnson, a black woman in her 30s, sat at a modest cubicle, her poised frame dressed in a simple blazer and skirt. To the untrained eye, she was just an administrative assistant, her pen moving swiftly over documents. But her sharp eyes scanned the room, catching every glance, every whisper. Maya was no ordinary employee. She was the founder of this tech empire, built from a dorm room laptop a decade ago, now undercover to see her company through the lens of its lowest rungs. Karen Thompson, a white woman in her 40s with a tight bun and sharper tongue, strutted past Maya's desk. Without a glance, she slammed a stack of papers onto the desk, the pages scattering slightly. Maya, file these by noon. Don't screw it up like last time, or I'll make sure you're out of here, she hissed, her voice dripping with contempt. Maya's response was calm, measured. I'll have them done, Karen. Karen didn't acknowledge her, her heels clicking away as if Maya were invisible. James, a young black coworker with a warm smile, leaned over from the next cubicle. She's got it out for you, huh? He whispered, his brow furrowed. What's her deal? Maya offered a small smile, her eyes betraying a flicker of resolve. Just another day, James. But beneath her composure, Maya was cataloging every slight, every jab. Karen thought herself untouchable, oblivious to the fact that Maya signed her paychecks. The break room was no refuge. Maya poured coffee, the bitter scent grounding her when the door swung open. Karen entered with Lisa, a white woman in her 30s who trailed Karen like a shadow, eager to please. They didn't notice Maya at first, tucked by the counter. Karen's voice sliced through the stillness, loud and deliberate. I don't know why they keep hiring people like her. Slow, sloppy, probably some diversity hire who can't even spell tech. The words were a gut punch, laced with venom that echoed years of slurs Maya had endured. Lisa laughed nervously, glancing around. She seems okay? I mean, she gets her work done, she mumbled, her voice weak. Karen stepped closer to the counter, her eyes narrowing as she spotted Maya. Okay? She's a walking mistake. You think she belongs in a place like this? Her voice rose, each word a deliberate stab. Look at her, out of place, out of her league. She's dragging us all down. The air was suffocating, thick with malice. Maya's hand trembled on the coffee pot, the heat burning her palm, but her face remained a mask of calm. She turned, locking eyes with Karen. Karen, she said, her voice steady despite the fire in her chest, if you have feedback about my work, I'd appreciate it directly. Karen closed the distance, her smirk twisting into a sneer. Feedback? This isn't about your work, Maya. It's about you not belonging here. Her eyes raked over Maya, her skin, her tightly coiled hair, her very existence. This is a high-performance environment, not a charity for people like you. Go back to where you came from, somewhere simpler. The words were a raw, racist wound tearing into Maya's core. Lisa froze, her eyes darting to the floor, her silence a betrayal. Maya's heart pounded, her breath shallow, but she held Karen's gaze. I'll keep that in mind, she said, pouring her coffee with deliberate calm, though her hands shook. Karen laughed. A cold, cutting sound, and sauntered out, Lisa trailing behind. Alone, Maya gripped the counter, her vision blurring with unshed tears. She had built this company to innovate, to uplift, but Karen's hatred was a stark reminder of why she was here, undercover, witnessing the truth. The days blurred, but Karen's hostility sharpened like a blade. At a team meeting, Maya sat near the back, taking notes as David, the project manager, presented a new software rollout. Maya knew every detail of this project. She had designed its framework years ago, but she stayed silent, blending into the background. Karen, seated at the front, interrupted David to pitch her new idea for the software, a blatant theft of Maya's original blueprint. She'd been snooping through shared files, passing off Maya's work as her own. When Maya raised her hand to clarify a technical point, Karen spun around, her face contorted with rage. Maya, shut up and stick to filing. Nobody needs your input, she snapped, her voice booming across the room. The words were a public humiliation, sharp and personal. David looked uncomfortable but didn't intervene. A few coworkers snickered, their laughter a searing sting. Maya's cheeks burned, not from embarrassment but from the rage she swallowed down. She nodded, scribbling in her notebook, but inside she was screaming. She had created this software, this company, and yet Karen dismissed her as if she were nothing. After the meeting, Karen cornered Maya in the hallway, the fluorescent lights casting harsh shadows. The corridor was empty, amplifying the tension. "You thought you could speak up in there?" Karen hissed, stepping so close Maya could feel her breath. "You're not fooling anyone, Maya. You're out of your depth. This isn't your world." Her voice dropped to a venomous whisper. "You're just a token hire and everyone knows it. You'll never belong here, not with us, not in tech. Quit before you make a fool of yourself." Her words were a barrage, each one laced with racial contempt, reopening wounds Maya had carried for years. Every time she'd been told she didn't belong, every door slammed in her face because of her skin. Maya's heart thundered, her fists clenching at her sides. The urge to lash out was overwhelming, but she forced her voice to remain steady. "I'm here to do my job, Karen. If you have a problem, take it to HR." Karen laughed, a cold, mocking sound that echoed in the empty hall. "HR? You think they'd side with you? You're nothing here. A nobody with no future." She leaned in, her eyes glinting with cruelty. "You're not one of us, and you never will be." With that, she turned and walked away, leaving Maya alone, her breathing ragged, her body trembling. The weight of those words crushed her, but she straightened, reminding herself why she endured this. To root out the poison in her company. The breaking point came a week later. A critical project deadline loomed and the team gathered in the conference room for a final review. Maya sat quietly, her notepad filled with observations. Karen took center stage, presenting the project as her own, her voice dripping with confidence as she claimed credit for Maya's work. But when David asked a technical question she couldn't answer, the room grew tense, the silence heavy. Maya saw her opening and spoke up, her voice clear and authoritative. "The issue is in the API integration. The current setup doesn't account for scalability under high traffic. If we adjust the backend to use asynchronous processing, it'll handle the load." The room turned to her, stunned. Karen's face twisted into a mask of fury, her eyes blazing. "What the hell do you know about APIs?" she roared, slamming her hand on the table. The sound echoed and the room froze. "You're just a secretary, Maya. Stay in your damn lane." Her voice was raw, unfiltered, dripping with racial venom. "You think you can waltz in here and play engineer? You're not smart enough for this. Not you, not ever." The words were a public execution, each one a deliberate blow to Maya's identity, her intelligence, her existence. James shifted uncomfortably, his eyes wide with shock. David looked down, avoiding the scene. A few co-workers exchanged uneasy glances, but no one spoke. Maya's heart raced, her hands trembling in her lap, but she met Karen's gaze, her calm exterior masking the inferno within. "I've studied the project files," she said evenly, her voice cutting through the tension. "It's a simple fix." Karen laughed, a harsh, derisive sound that filled the room with its cruelty. "Studied? You?" She leaned forward, her voice a venomous hiss. "You're here to make copies, not pretend you belong with us. You're embarrassing yourself. And us." The room was a pressure cooker, the air thick with hostility. Maya's vision blurred with the weight of the assault, but she felt the moment approaching, the moment she'd been waiting for. The next morning, Maya called an all-staff meeting, the scene unfolding as glimpsed in the opening. She stood at the head of the conference room, her tailored suit signaling a shift in power. "I've been with Bright Future Tech for 10 years, she said, her voice steady and resonant. "I started it in a dorm room with nothing but a laptop and a dream to change the tech world. I built this company from the ground up and I've watched it grow into what it is today." The room fell silent, eyes widening. Karen's smirk faltered, her face paling, her hands gripping the table as if to anchor herself. "I came here undercover," Maya continued, "as an administrative assistant to see this company through your eyes. To understand what works and what doesn't." Her gaze locked onto Karen, who shrank in her seat, her bravado crumbling. "I've seen dedication, innovation, and teamwork. But I've also seen toxicity, prejudice, and theft of credit where it's not due." She paused, letting the words sink in, her eyes never leaving Karen. "I've endured insults, racism, and attempts to erase my worth. But this company is my life's work, and I will not tolerate anyone who undermines its values or its people." Karen's mouth opened, but no words came out, her face a mask of shock and dread. The room buzzed with whispers, coworkers exchanging stunned glances. James grinned, his eyes shining with pride. Maya turned to David. Effective immediately, Karen Thompson is no longer with this company. Her actions, her racism, her theft, her cruelty have violated our core principles of respect and integrity. Two security guards appeared at the door, their presence a silent command. Karen stood, her face contorted with disbelief and humiliation, and stormed out, her heels echoing in the stunned silence, the guards trailing behind. Maya addressed the room again, her voice softening but firm. This company thrives because of all of you, your ideas, your passion, your diversity. I'm here to ensure that every voice is heard, every contribution valued. She smiled, a weight lifting from her shoulders. Let's get back to work. As the employees filed out, whispering excitedly, James approached Maya. You're the boss? For real? He asked, grinning. Maya nodded, her smile warm. For real. And I've got my eye on you for that developer role you've been eyeing. James laughed, shaking his head in awe. In the days that followed, the office transformed. The air felt lighter, the team more collaborative. Maya stepped fully into her role as CEO, no longer hiding in the shadows. She implemented new policies to foster inclusion, mentored young talent like James, and ensured that bright future tech lived up to its name. The memory of Karen's vicious attacks lingered, but it fueled Maya's resolve to make her company a beacon of progress. She had faced the ugliness head-on, endured its deepest cuts, and in doing so, she had reclaimed her creation stronger than ever.